Hey everybody, it's Justin. Um, I'm hoping I don't go long in this video. I'll try to stay in that 6 minute mark, but um, I've gone over every time I've recorded this, so we'll see. I tried to make the video a little enjoyable for you. I got some low lighting going on and LEDs in the background to make it all cool looking. Um, but anyways, on to the assignment. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed this entire class actually, but this assignment I enjoyed a lot because it was very nostalgic for me. We had our three choices that we all had to pick. We presented them to Mr. Man, of course, but I had one that I was like, man, I really hope he picks this, and luckily he did, and that was 21st Century Tank Girl. The reason this is so nostalgic is because when I was in high school in the 90s, I'm showing my age there, but high school in the 90s, Tank Girl was like it was the thing that me and my friends were like, wow, this is great. She was rebellious and wild, and she just broke all the norms. It wasn't like your typical heroine in a comic. She was unpredictable and just wild, just completely wild. You never knew what you were going to get into with her from page to page. Same with the movie. They made a movie of Tank Girl, and again, it was wild. Every scene, you're like, what is she going to do? It was played by Laura Petty, which was an amazing casting role, I thought. Well, the whole movie was underrated, if you ask me, but it still holds up today. I watched it recently after I was able to use this graphic novel for the assignment, so it was awesome. But we're 2 minutes in, and I haven't even hit the analysis bullets. So let's do that. So Tank Girl, 21st Century. We got that. The writer Alan Martin and the artist drawn by is Jamie Hewlett. Alan Martin and Jamie Hewlett were the original creators of Tank Girl. um, what they did for this comic slash graphic novel is they take they solicited artists and writers from all over the world, and that's why we have multiple artists and letterers and everything. um, they wanted to get everyone's opinion or view of their IP, and then said, "Hey, come in here. Let's do a 20th anniversary edition. You give us stories, you draw them up. We'll collab. We'll put them all together, and we'll put our input into it as well." And that's what this is. It's really neat. So it's 114 pages, but that's not a 114-page story. It's more of probably 40, 50 short stories. Each story is about 2 page long with a page or two of filler content, which is um, some random drawing that they did, which it incorporates the feeling of the Tank Girl universe and its style. I'll throw a picture up here for you to so you understand. But so when it comes to that, it's not a graphic novel. It's more of a bunch of it's a compilation of Tank Girl's stories. So it doesn't really have an act. I guess it doesn't have an act one, two, and three. It doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. Each little story kind of does, but not really. It's not a full story. It's not like, oh, we're here, we need to do this, and we did it. It's all in the Tank Girl world. So their story arcs, their character arcs, all that stuff is just all over the place. Each story is more like I'm Tank Girl. Um, I'm going to start a problem. I started the problem. I'm leaving the problem. Nothing ever gets resolved. They just move on to the next situation, which I like. It's a breath of fresh air. Um, but in between each little story, they've got these little art panels, like a splash page kind of, that has nothing to do with the story you just saw. It has nothing to do with the story you're about to see. It's just a random like Tank Girl advertisement kind of. Here's one right here. uh, it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. And if you look at the details of the artwork, it's supposed to be like a model tank that you would find in the store back in the day. I don't know if you could still do that now, but so the play, so the it's called Rip Off Model. Um, it's by Big Baddie Booga. So Booga's like her friend, boyfriend, um, depending on what page you flip. He's a kangaroo human hybrid, which makes no sense, but it makes complete sense if you follow Tank Girl. And if you look at the little things in here, it's like pain in the arse assembly and stuff like that. It's hilarious, but that is throughout the entire story. Like the next page of this was a little poem that looked all noir, our drawing, and well, the poem made no sense. so so when I looked at these like bullet points, I was like, well, I'm kind of getting off easy in a way, because there's no rhyme or reason to Tank Girl. She's always just in a situation. She makes a situation worse, and then she leaves the situation. Um, the movie, it had a beginning, middle, of an end, but it had a bunch of random things in it as well. So, but this compilation, yeah, it means it has no arc. It's just pandemonium the entire time. It goes through a lot of different transitions. Like one story's in the future and she's in space. The next story, is a Wild West. Then she's in the 70s, and then in the 90s, and then they're doing a I Know What You Did Last Summer ripoff, and it's taking all the pop cultural references and throwing Tank Girl into it, and she just destroys them. She just makes fun of everything, and she's wild. Um, which is I enjoy it a lot. So when it comes to transitions and stuff, no, they're not effective. But the transitions between each story is effective because it has those little artworks in there and poems and jokes. Like they have boogers, like dad jokes that make no sense, but it's just it's fun. It's just a fun comic. It feels alive. It feels kind of like WandaVision. That's what it kind of feels like. Is they're in the 50s, and then some random commercial comes on. It makes no sense, and then all of a sudden they're in the 70s, and that's exactly what Tank Girl is. A lot more vulgar, a lot more graphic, and yeah, it's out there. So, would I recommend it? Definitely. I think it's a breath of fresh air. I would recommend to my classmates. I would recommend to my friends, everybody. I think it's just really good. If you're a fan of like Marvel and DC and that that linear path that they have is like, I'm a hero, there's a problem, heroes will solve it. uh, this is not that way at all. She sometimes is the hero, she's sometimes the villain. She has a few friends that are always in her antics, and one of them is well, they're both kind of like on her conscious. One's like the silly side, the one's the serious side. But they both give in to her, which is like the wild side. So it's just complete anarchy the entire time. So when it comes to like observations, when we did like John Amen Amazing Band, we just it didn't feel like it fit. It was like, all right, this is kind of trying to be like other comics. The artwork is amazing, but the story is like pulling on those other hero stereotypes. Um, like this doesn't. This is pulling on it. It's like its own world, its own art style, and everything. Um, and I like that. And over 20 years later, looking back at Tank Girl from then and now, it looks like I picked up the next issue the next day. There was, even though there was a 20 plus year gap, if it did not feel like it. It stayed true to itself, which was even better because they used other writers and artists to create this alongside with the original creators. So that just shows you those who are in that world of Tank Girl understand her, and it shows in the comic. Um, so the fun fact is, and I didn't know this, but the artist and co-creator Jamie, he actually was. I'll show it here. This is the very last page of the comic, but it says right here, Jamie Hewlett. He was the artist with Gorillaz, the band, and I never knew that. Never once. But if you look at the picture there, you can see it. You can completely see the art is the same. And even when I listened to Gorillaz back in the day and I saw their music videos, I was like, something about this seems familiar. Give it a chance. Give Tank Girl a chance. It's a really good comic. It's a really good character. It's a very good character. She's wild. I love her. So, um, hey, I appreciate you guys watching the video, and please give me any kind of feedback you have. I love reading it, and I'll see you guys later.